Hey, what's up, everybody?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Yes, we are so glad that you guys tuned in to another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, where we're just real people.
Hey, dealing with real issues.
Absolutely. So we are back on the scene with another episode. So listen, so tell somebody
Tell somebody.
that Josh and Sharon is on with another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. So what we talking about today there, Sharon?
Hey, today we're talking about the power of yes and no.
The power of yes and no. In other words, let your yes be yes.
And your no is no.
Yes, absolutely. Sharon, you sound kind of low. How about that right there? Bring you in so the people can hear you.
Hey, you can hear me now?
Absolutely.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Hey, you guys. We just been on high heaven. You know, it's been so much going on in our lives, you know, with the starting of the church and trying to continue to keep the videos for our faithful fans out there that are always tuning in to every episode that we do. Listen, we do not want to neglect you all. So listen, get your popcorn this Saturday morning and get yourself kicked back for a few minutes and let's talk about this no and this yes, right? Absolutely. Let's do this then.
Hey, well, let's go ahead and dive in.
Absolutely no. So listen. So yes, without further ado, I think that we are running into a situation where our no's are not really being the no's and our yeses are not being the yeses.
Okay.
So somebody might be like, well, what are you talking about? No means no and yes means yes. Well, y'all know that we are a podcast and we talk about, you know, financial stability. And we talk about, you know, on this podcast of getting out of debt, staying out of debt, being slave to no man.
And building your emergency funds.
Absolutely. Owing nobody,
That's
you know,
right.
saving up for retirement, saving up for your short-term goals and everything.
Investments.
Absolutely. You're definitely investing, you know, in your future.
That's right.
As well as your family's future.
That's right.
But have you noticed that every time, Sharon, every time you try to do something in the realm of saving, right?
Mhm.
And you seem like you just starting to get that engine to plowing and you're just starting to get ahead.
Get going.
Yeah. And it just seems like it always be that individual that's there that's always in need.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get it wrong and don't get it twisted, but the way we're coming at this from the beginning, because there are people that does need things and that
They have
if you can, right, and if you can help them, you should help them. But a lot of times we run into those that just don't want to try to help themselves, right?
Yeah, and sometimes they can abuse the help.
Yes, and then they spend more time on what can they get from you versus what can they do for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people, watch this now, a lot of people are trying to prey on your good intentions, on you as a good person, right? Me knowing you as the person that you are. One thing about Sharon, if you got it to give, you're going to give.
I will.
But then there's that other person, might be a Sharon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That got the same heart as you, right?
Yeah.
But don't have to give as often as you might have to give as Sharon, right?
That's right.
In other words, the whole reason why you in this program of trying to, you know, build wealth and get yourself out of debt from the get-go is because you have gotten yourself into a situation to where you owe too many people. And then there was bills and there were things that have happened in your life that you have neglected. Mm-hmm. So now you have gotten to the point that you wanted to come out of that struggle, right? From living from check to check, from living from barely making it, you know, and so now you put forth a sacrifice.
That's right.
And you begin to live, like Dave Ramsey said, you begin to live like no one else. This living like no one else, meaning that you lived in the struggle. That means you living in the suffering, because so you can reign later, so you
That's
can
right.
have later. You neglected the wants,
Mhm.
and you only saw about the need,
Yeah.
right? So you went through this whole phase of trying to rebuild who you really are to come out of the struggle. But it seems like when the more you try to come out of the struggle, and every time it seems like you getting ahead, it's always that individual in your life. And everybody knows that somebody like this here. All right. I think I established pretty good that we're not just talking about people that's really in need, and we're not being selfish saying that we don't want to help nobody. Because I'm a big giver. I tell y'all
Yeah.
that
We're
all the time.
givers.
I am a giver. I mean, I pray the Lord bless me with more that I can give more. You know, I give my time, not only my money, I give my time, I give my energy, I give my heart, I give my patience, I give in a lot of ways. But then there's those individuals, Sharon, that only comes after you mostly for the financial
What you can do for them.
things of life. You know, the money. They ain't necessarily looking.
Nothing else matter. I just want the money.
Right, right. And sometimes it don't even be people that know you. Like I have noticed that I have been. Have you ever noticed that when you coming out of Walmart, Target, somewhere like that, like in different homeless situations? This how you know. This how I know if I'm gonna help a homeless person or not. Right here. Um, if I could find a homeless person, whatever the case may be, uh, that's sitting at a traffic light or sitting at a stop sign where I have to come into contact with as I go through that intersection, and they're asking for something, right? And a lot of them, they have the sign out there that says anything helps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there have been, and I'm sure some people have experienced this as well too. There have been occasions where I wanted to give money, but I didn't have money to give at the time, or I might have been eating something. And there has been occasions where you have offered food, right?
Hmm.
And that person would tell you, "I don't want that."
Yeah. I have.
Wait, wait a minute here. Now, you in a situation that you don't have anything, and you in a situation that you have to ask somebody else to help you through, and you have the nerve nor audacity to tell that person that's trying to help you, you don't want that. But you just said anything help. Not, and I'm not picking on homeless people because there are, like I said, there are people out there that's really going through some
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? And some people out there by force, not by choice.
That's
But there
true.
are those individuals that are out there by choice rather than force, and their choice is to try to pray and take advantage of people kind and giving hearts. One thing about Americans, we are giving people. We will give, and especially the people of God. And unfortunately, we have people just like that in our everyday lives, whether there be blood kin, whether there be, they didn't necessarily got to be homeless people, but they could be just somebody that's in your circle.
Indeed.
And the minute they think you got something or you're going somewhere, it's like they always have a handout. So what I'm getting at is sometimes we have to let our no be no,
And our yes, yes.
be yes. Because if we say that we're in a saving mode and we're forsaking all others because we have to get to a situation to where that we can give without it hurting us, without it throwing us back, and into 2-3 years, back in the future, we want our situation to be stable,
Yeah.
right? We want to
Yeah.
build our finances and our wealth on a solid foundation.
I agree.
Therefore, when we do give, right, we can give from a strong point, not from a weak point. You can't give something that you don't have.
Yeah.
You got to come out of your rut. Am I right or
Yeah.
wrong?
You're right. You're right.
To be a blessing to
To someone.
someone.
Yeah.
So, sometimes our no's don't always be our no's. And we got to fix that, because if we don't be careful, then we can find ourselves um, getting like bitter in our hearts, because there's often times that we always say, man, every time I seem like I'm coming up, I've been struggling. So every time I seem like I'm coming up, it's always something And said, man, it's like somebody come from out of nowhere. I can't never get ahead because this person always needs something. This person always needs something. This person, listen, we can't save everybody.
No.
Can't save everybody.
Sure.
You know, help those that are in need of help. But there are those that can do better and they won't do better, but because they know the niceness and the nice person that you are, they takes advantage of that.
Yeah.
Right. And then I know we're going to get to you know, where you're talking about, you know, if we give, we have to give, you know, cheerfully, like the Bible says, right? Because if you don't let your no be no and your yes be yes, and then you always have somebody that's always antagonizing you and coming after you for everything, they always need a handout, then you'll find yourself not being blessed because you giving from a place of grudge. You're giving from a place of, man, I'm tired of you, man. Every time I look around you, I'm like, don't come bother me no more. Leave me alone. You're giving from that place, and I don't think that's a healthy place to be giving from if you're going to give. So this is why I wanted to come on and just, you know, talk with everybody about, you know, let you know
The power of yes and
the
no.
power of yes and no. You know, isn't just sometimes no is good.
It is. Yeah.
You know, people, you know, to that individual that might be asking,
Yeah.
it might not be so good.
Because it come a point you have to draw the line.
You better draw a line,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't draw the line, then you're gonna be on the other side of the line.
You're right.
Just being,
You're
you know
right.
what I'm saying? You got to anchor yourself. Come on.
That's right.
Am I right about it? Y'all talk to us
You're
out
right.
there.
You're right.
We have to anchor ourselves because if we don't draw a line, after a while they'll pull you on the other side of the line. And then guess what? When
Then
they
you'll
get
be
through,
trying to figure out how you get there.
have you noticed
Mhm.
when you don't have anything,
Mhm.
or you're not doing anything, you're not accomplishing anything, all that stuff don't come your way. But the minute, it's like testing trials, right? That's what it seems like. The minute you're trying to, I'm not talking about that you already done made it, you already done arrived. You
You're in your
trying to come out of a
process.
struggle.
Yeah.
You know, so as I'm coming out of a struggle, I don't mind, you know, being a blessing where I can. But there are those individuals that are taking advantage of the kind person that you are. And I'm here today to talk about that today, y'all. So we got to just beware.
Hold that thought.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast with Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. They truly appreciate your support. Thank you for following them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, subscribing to their YouTube channel. If you would like to make a contribution towards the podcast to further its reach, please feel free to do so with Cashapp, $ Let's Conversate. Again, thank you for watching Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. Back to today's podcast.
If you give in everything that you come in, you know, that comes in your possession, then you're never storing away anything.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to be stores, right? So that when rainy days come and when that's the whole reason why we save 3 to 6 months in emergency funds, right? Not just mine, but anybody. Emergency fund is not a giveaway fund. That is life happens fund.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So when you set up emergency fund, you do not count that emergency fund as your savings. You do not count that emergency fund as your checking money. You don't count that in your overall money, saying that well, overall I'm worth this right here. No, you take that emergency fund money and you stack that money up 3 to 6 months. You put that money away and you forget about that money.
That's right.
Until a life happen moment that you have to use it.
Yeah.
And then when life happens moment that you have to use your emergency fund, then everything else, once you use it, however much of that money you use, everything comes to a halt until you replenish the emergency fund.
That's right. That's
to
right.
its fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know, fill it back up. You know, everything comes to a halt. Listen, I am a big person. I told you I learned this here from my former pastor that and I live by it because it should be true in everybody, you know, situation, everybody life, that if I can't give it to you,
Mhm.
without having to look for it back, then I really don't have it
Don't
to
have it.
give. People have lost friends. Friendships have gone sour, have gone out of the window because people give and they look for it back. Well, if a person come and borrowing from you, that because most times it's because they really need it.
Yeah.
And if they borrow from you for some debt that they're in or something that they owe, they couldn't afford to pay that debt or that they owe. So 9 out of 10, they really can't afford to pay you back. Even in the cases where they do pay you back, sometimes they still couldn't afford to pay you back. But some people, live up to their word and will pay it back. But there are those individuals that will get from you and take from you knowing that they should pay you back if you live by that, because I don't live by that pay you back thing. But if you live by that and they know they should pay you back, they will avoid you, right? When you give people something and they owe you, sometimes early on they might call you a couple times, check in with you, yeah, after a while, but then you notice they start
Fading
fading,
away. Yeah.
right? And they fade so far that when they see you, they don't convince themselves that they don't owe you anything, right?
Yeah.
Come
That's
on.
so long ago.
Been so long ago. Oh, and then if you bring it up to them,
Mad at
yeah, they beat you getting mad. Getting mad because you asked about something that y'all both agree that will be paid back. That's why you have to watch this stuff. When you trying to get yourself out of debt, you got a family, you owe creditors and all this, and you done paid off all this debt and everything. You have to secure yourself. You have to put security around your own self.
Yeah.
Because people, not all people, but there are those individuals, whether they're family members or not, they will take advantage of your situation and your kindness.
That's true.
I'm just being honest about the situation.
You're honest.
People take advantage of this stuff, and we have to be aware of these individuals that will take our kindness for weaknesses. And like I said, if I don't got it to give it, and I don't have to look for it back, chances are I don't have it to give from the get-go, because I shouldn't have to look for it back, because I don't want to lose my friendship with you over, a few bucks, because I ain't got it to get. I ain't no millionaire, so I ain't finna give you $1 million or no $100,000 anyway. So you looking for that? Don't even come looking my way, But you come borrow $100, $200, $300. If I can't get that to you without looking for it back, then chances are I don't really have it to give. And listen, folks, before we can be lenders, we have to establish ourselves. We have to show ourselves faithful to the things that God have blessed us with. So you can't be a good lender to anybody if you don't have, your stuff in order. If you owing somebody, what you doing borrowing? What you doing lending somebody else? You need to go pay the person that you owe.
You're right.
Huh? First thing first. Come on, don't it make sense?
It makes sense.
If I owed you money, right, and I'm over here borrowing for somebody else, right, wouldn't that make you kind of upset that I owe you money, I'm borrowing for somebody? Now I owe him too, and then look, I don't owed you so long. He gonna seem to be more urgent to pay back than you, because I already got you under the book.
Now you're gonna put me on the back burner.
Yeah, you already been on the back burner. You going a little further.
I'll go a little further.
Yeah, you warmer. Where we at? Don't forget to pray.
Just don't forget to pray.
Let's do this, y'all. Hey, it's another segment that we added to the show. It's your Don't Forget to Pray moment. We got Sharon over here. Tell them why they don't need to forget to pray.
Hey, today's Don't Forget to Pray moment is brought to you by All Things Wealth. The scripture reading will come from James, the 5th chapter, the 12th verse. But above all, my brethren, do not swear either by heaven or by earth, or with any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no, no, lest you fall into judgment. When you're giving, make sure you're not giving from a grudgingly place. Even if you have to pray about it, pray to God for a strategy on how to be a blessing to someone else. And I want to just encourage you, continue to pray without ceasing, okay? Now we're going to go back to today's podcast.
Absolutely. Don't forget to pray. Y'all know we push that don't forget to pray moment. Listen, you better pray before you get it. Keep giving that same individual your funds over and over and over again. Listen, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ain't gonna be no three.
That's it.
Me, I'm a one and done type dude. But that's why, I don't give, looking.
Yeah.
Right? I give to push you ahead. Right?
Right.
Listen to that. That's prophetic right there. I don't
You
give looking, but I give pushing you ahead, pushing you on down the road so you don't come back no more. Asking me for nothing. No, just hilarious moment. But no, I'm serious though. Y'all listen, we all have situations.
Yeah.
We all have trials. We all have
but
things.
we're human.
Right, that rise up in our lives, and there are times that we all, might
Need
fall,
someone.
fall into a situation where we have to be bailed out of something. But those are innocent situations.
That's a different,
right? And we're not talking about that. We're talking about the wolves in sheep clothing. Let me just call it like that. We talk about the ones that's always got a hand out, never ever doing anything to better their situation. Just sitting around all month long. Not if you're disabled and you can't work, or that's a different thing.
Different.
But then the ones that just ride the system, and when they wonder why these folk want to close down Medicare and Medicaid, and they want to close down, the government assistance and stuff, because we got those riders. They just ride. They're gonna ride you if you keep on giving them your money. They're gonna ride you. As long as they can ride you. And think about it. When you didn't have anything to give, when you wasn't on the debt payoff situation,
where was those people?
Right, and not only that, they didn't. You're right. Where was they? They wasn't riding you. They wasn't begging you all the time.
It seemed like they was getting ahead.
They were doing what they had to do.
Yeah.
But the minute they found out you trying to do something right and trying to get yourself in a situation, they want to ride you and ride you to wherever you're going at, and you ain't gonna go far.
I'm gonna take it to the Lord in prayer.
Where you gonna go if somebody riding you, man? That's I tried to do some push-ups one time with you on my back. When I was doing them push-ups by myself, I would ride, getting it. I would make a stride, make progress. I hugged. I said, "Yeah, get on my back one time. Let me see how good I go." And that quickly came to a halt.
Quick question. So how many did you get in?
About 2, 3. Right? And it quickly came to a halt. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't do what I did. In other words, you're doing fine when you're on your own, but when you got them riders keep riding you, it started bringing your finances and your money to a halt, because you was only working with so much from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
Because you just got through paying off all your debt. You just got through saving 3 to 6 months of emergency fund, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you starting to find your strive. You starting to go a little further and go a little more. And after a while. Ooh, but when after a while, you let a rider get on you, man, it seems like that steam that you had just gradually start slowing down until you finally come to a halt. So we got to get them riders off us, y'all. Come on, let's do this. Don't forget where we at. Let's do this shout out. Let's get the shout outs out the way. All right, it's time for these shout outs once again. Listen, if you're in the Orlando area, New Chief Cornerstone, they are located at 820 South Park Avenue, Winter Garden, Florida, under the leadership of Dr. Clarita M. James and Pastor Norman James. If you're in that Orlando area and you need a church to attend, stop in. Tell them Josh and Sharon sent you. Also, Christ the Redeemer Ministry, 4721 East Moody Boulevard, Palm Coast, Florida, under the leadership of Apostle Robert and Betty Davenport. Listen, stop in. If you're in the Palm Coast area, see Pastor Davenport. Listen, if you want to church here in Tennessee, the Church of Churches, yes, that is none other than New Hope Church of God in Christ, 303 South University Street, under the leadership of Pastor Anthony and Lady Graham. This is a Church of Churches. where you can clap your hands, stomp your feet. Come on to New Hope. Yeah, New Hope. Also, we want to just thank everybody that supports us, that always show love to this podcast. We thank you wherever you are. It means the world to us. So keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. All right. Absolutely. So in other words, we letting our no's be no.
And our yes is yes.
And our yeses be yes. At the end of this day, you guys, we cannot, allow ourselves to drift back. If we don't get nothing else out of this, we cannot allow ourselves to drift back to where God has brought us out of. We was in a situation where we was being borrowers instead of lenders, and we was owing everybody. We owed credit cards, we owed loans, student loans, we owed, bank loans. We owed all these different stuff, rental loans, loans, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And God have brought us out of that, right? And so when He brought us out of that, once He bring you out of something, He don't expect you to go back into that. And we have to use wisdom when we're dealing with finances and dealing with those with our finances. And we have to know when we are able to give and when we are not able to give, when we have to sit back for a minute, right? I'm not encouraging closed fists, and closed fists, you don't never open up and you can't ever receive anything, right? So that's not what my encouragement is, but my encouragement is to be wise in everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Bible wants us to be wise, in what we do, allow the Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us, and He'll tell us who we should give to, who we should give to. Amen. He'll show us those that are really in need. That's right. Versus those that are just trying to take advantage of the situation, of the kindness of you and I heart. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So listen, if I don't say nothing else, I'll just say this right here. Be mindful, of how you treat that God have blessed you with, right? Because you don't want to give grudgingly, because if you're giving grudgingly, then there's no reward for you. God can't bless you when you give grudgingly. When we give, we ought to give cheerful, be cheerful givers, right? And how could you be a cheerful giver over somebody that is constantly taking advantage of you? Every time you look around, they always got their hand out asking you for something, but there's nothing in their life that you're seeing that they're doing to prosper themselves and come out of a situation that they might have been in for some time. They won't listen to nobody. They won't go get a job. They won't stay on a job. You know what I mean? It's just always a situation in their life, and it's always gimme. And sometimes you just got to be done gave out to certain individuals. So this is why it's important to what? Let our no be no and our yes is yes. Yes, right? The power of what?
Yes and no.
The power of yes and no. All right. So listen, you guys. There it is. Me and Sharon, we done did that thing. Yeah, there it is. There. Oh! Gotta holler. I ain't hollered for y'all in a while. But y'all know what time it is.
We gotta go.
It's time for us to get up out of here. Where we going, Sharon?
Hey, we got to go.
Absolutely. Listen, you guys, it's been fun, exciting, and all that. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, where we're just real people.
Hey, dealing with real issues.
Absolutely. So tell somebody. Every time Josh and Sharon is on with an episode of Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon, where we're just real people.
Dealing with real issues.
Also, just so y'all know, we don't have all the answers.
No, we do not.
We don't even try to act like we do.
Nope.
But we know somebody that do.
That's right.
Christ Jesus. Absolutely. So, hey, until next time, deuces.
Bye.